Guys, one of our members in our VIP Discord said, what do you think about Royal Paul saying the ISM is above 50 and we're going to rise on BTC? Now, we have a lot of new people coming into crypto who maybe don't know about some of these guys in the space. So in this video, I'm just going to talk about some of the things I've experienced over the last few years, what I think about these guys. And I do think Royal Paul is one of the worst investors in the space. And I'm going to talk about those reasons in this video for various different reasons. I mean, just listen to this video from Raw here.
I'm massively overweight Sui.
Oversold.
Massively.
Can I ask you percentages wise, more or less?
I'm definitely over 70% Sui. And that's not anything to do with the foundation that I'm on.
Okay, so first of all, he says I'm over 70% in Sui. Okay, over 70%. So first of all, immediately massive red flag. I can't tell you guys what to do. Personally, I'm quite fortunate. I didn't just study crypto. I also studied stocks and risk management, and I read books from famous investors. And these guys that I learned from would always say they only put in 1 to 5% of their net worth into an asset. Why? Well, because they might be wrong. They were humble enough to know that they're not going to be right all the time. And they might have a lot of conviction in an asset. They might think it's going to go up. They might have maybe even inside information that, something good is coming. But they're still humble enough to know that anything can go wrong, right? Any possible situation can happen. We've seen it happen with Luna. We've seen it happen with FTX. We've seen loads of assets that people had max conviction on pretty much go down 99% in a very short amount of time, okay? So this is probably one of the best things I learned from these OG investors, and it's mainly in TradFi. I would say crypto is a lot more degenerate. Maybe some of these guys haven't studied risk management. Maybe they haven't studied some of the TradFi kind of types of trading that's used in TradFi. And they stuck to 1 to 5%. And some of the best traders who I really liked would only put 1% in an asset. And this means that they could have 1% in 100 different assets, which means that, hey, maybe they bought gold and gold just went down for 20 years. Well, it doesn't matter because they still have 99 assets. And maybe orange juice didn't do very well either. Well, it doesn't matter because they've still got 98 assets. And maybe they had 1% in NVIDIA, and NVIDIA actually went and done a 20x, right? So now their 1% in NVIDIA is up 20%, and we know that they're risking 1%, so we know this gives them 20 more lives to lose on the 1%. So they could lose 20 times and still be okay because they diversified. Now, I love this, and as you guys know, if you're in my Discord, I'm always talking about I put 1% into this, I put 0.5% into this. I maybe even take more, risk, I diversify more maybe than I should do, right? 0.5% is a very small amount, and even some TradFi guys don't do that. Personally, it works for me, and it's about finding out what works for you, right? So yeah, I mean, even these, I think I put around 0.5 or 1% in Poet, or maybe 1% in GFS. But I'm basically just managing my risk. Okay, so first of all, 70% in a crypto is insane. Okay, look, if you had just said 70% in the S&P or the Nasdaq, okay, right, it's one of the lowest risk assets out there. That's fine. But 70% in any crypto, to me personally, even Bitcoin, having 70% of your net worth in Bitcoin is crazy. But then to go and put it in an altcoin that's brand new, when blockchains are kind of struggling to find partnerships and growth, and we can see on chain that the blockchains were not doing the things that we expect, right? We're always looking on chain to see user adoption, transactions, and to me personally, it's absolutely insane. And Sui completely collapsed shortly after. I think this was around the top, right? There was a lot of FOMO, and Sui completely collapsed. And to have 70% of your money in Sui is insane. Imagine you had a $1 million. Let's make it more. Let's make it more reasonable. Let's say 100K in Sui, and Sui. Let's say it's down. Let's say it completely, comes down. and how much is SUI down? I think it's down like 80%. That means you're left with 20K. Okay, so you've nearly lost most of your portfolio from not focusing on a strategy, not focusing on a risk management strategy of having smaller percents in, because you got FOMO, because you got this hype from a lot of these KOLs. So first of all, this is really disgusting to me, and you know what? It makes me sad that a lot of people respect some of these larger accounts, and they think, oh, this guy's been here for such a long time. He's got a huge following. How can he be wrong? And we see a lot of these new members come in because this member in particular hasn't been in crypto too long. And I get it, right? This is where I was when I first got into crypto. I was like, how can these guys must know what they're doing. All I need to do is follow what they're doing and I'm going to be okay. But the majority of the time, listen to what he says here. This is the most important part.
I'm definitely over 70% SUI. And that's not anything to do with the foundation that I'm on.
That's nothing to do with the foundation I'm on. He's almost saying that because it is because of the foundation he's on, right? A lot of these large accounts are VCs. This is very, very important, okay? So basically, a VC is someone who gets to invest in an asset early. And normally, if you have a large following, if you have a large account, you'll get lots of different opportunities to invest in SUI, to invest in Solana, to invest in Ethereum early, because the foundations know we need marketing, right? We need marketing. What's the best way to market this product? Well, if we can get Roll on our foundation from the start, Roll's going to have a very large percentage of SUI, and he's going to be incentivized to be bullish about it, right? He's going to be incentivized to say good things. It's going higher. It's going to be the next Solana. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. And there's no incentive for him to ever say, take profits. Because if he says, cost, SUI's gone up 600%, 700%, I'm going to take some profits off the table, it's not good, right? He's not going to get new opportunities from other foundations. People are also going to dump on him, so dump on his bag, and obviously those tokens are potentially locked up for a very long time. So he needs exit liquidity from his bag because it might be vested, and vested means that you get a small percentage every month. So let's say he had 100% allocation, he maybe gets 5% a month or 10% a month. So he needs the SUI price to potentially hold up for as long as possible, so that he can exit those positions. This is just speculation, guys, but this is just how it happens. I'm not saying that Raw Paul is actually doing this. I'm just saying this is the majority of the time how this works. And that's why you have to be very, very careful about these overly bullish 70% portfolio. Even though I've been bullish on things in the past, I have, for example, Asta. I've said, look, I'm not going to go and put 20% of my portfolio in this. I'm not going to put 10% of my portfolio in this. And I also post when I'm taking profits, right? I say, guys, I'm taking profits off the table. Asta went up like 800%. Things don't just go up in a straight line. We have potential bear market approaching. I'm going to take some profits off the table. Yes, I'm going to keep a moon bag in, but I'm going to take some profits off the table. So this incentivizes really bad behaviors, and you have to be very careful when you are listening to some of these KOLs, especially some of the larger accounts, because they are VCs and they're not really risking that much because they get in so early. They get in at the start of the project. It's in their interest for these assets to continue to rise.
Just capital allocation of my savings, and simple. It's not because I'm on the foundation and people are like, hey, he's just shilling his coin, because the fucking chart of Solana, SUI versus Solana broke out. And Solana was the strongest horse in the race. Christian, who's the head of the foundation, his opening question now to projects that want to work with SUI is like, well, show me the path to 1 billion users. Right? Because it's built for that scale. And if you're leading with questions like that, is like, yeah, okay, it's interesting you building this, whatever, but is this going to bring me 1 billion users? If it's not of high priority. And so their mindset is really big. And they back it up by, all of the projects that they've been launching. So, I've been privileged to be on the foundation to see the inner workings of an amazing group of people, and see how they all come together. They're basically all ex-Facebook and Google. And they're very smart. They understand scale. They understand how to solve really difficult things, Walrus, stuff like that. It's super interesting.
So yeah, you get the gist, guys. You get the gist. Shill the bags. So I posted this back in January 2025. I put Sui has topped. Check this tweet back in 3 months. Now we actually bought into Sui around 0.85. As you guys know, I'm really transparent with my buys and sells in my Discord. Every time I sell an asset, I tell my community. I do not, if I buy or sell anything, it goes straight into my Discord. You can see sell alerts, buy alerts. You can see here when I'm selling assets. Okay, so I sold Sui around 4.5, and obviously we bought in around 0.85. Look, it's not life-changing gains, but it was decent, right? It was decent. You have to remember, a lot of people held their bag all the way down and lost a lot of money. A lot of people were shorting down here when we were buying. So yeah, we done pretty well. And of course we shorted this asset all the way down as well. So we made even more gains by shorting. And the SMC bot really helped us, right? We had a buy signal down here from the SMC bot. This comes free. The bot comes free with our paid Patreon, by the way. And then we had a sell signal here. And, it was lights out after this. This was pretty much the top of the market. It's not just the SMC, but you can see the trend line here. See this trend line where it's just trending up. Usually when you break these trend lines, it can be the start of the top, and then you start to go into a downtrend. And again, until you break that downtrend, you don't tend to see a move to the upside. And it played out very well, right? It was literally the top of the market. This was back in January 2025. I did start selling my altcoins early because nearly, this was at the start of the year, right? And everyone was expecting this altcoin season to come towards the end of 2025, Q4. Everyone kept saying Q4. You have to be very careful when everyone is saying the same thing. I'm going to take profit in Q4. I'm going to take profit at the end of the year, because what happens is it's not just some magical fairground ride where everyone gets to sell at the same time and we all hold hands running off rich. It doesn't always happen like that. And even though Bitcoin did a kind of top Q4, altcoins detached, and I don't think a lot of people saw that. It was around this kind of time. Bitcoin basically doubled in price and altcoins barely moved. And I said, this is a massive red flag, guys. We should be seeing altcoins completely rallying, but they're not. And now Bitcoin is nearly doubled in price. What happens when it starts to correct? What happens when it starts to come down? Historically, altcoins get absolutely decimated. And that's what we witnessed, right? That's what we witnessed. We witnessed Sui get completely decimated. We had a sell signal we had a weekly sell signal, which is even bigger on Sui. And after that, the price just completely capitulated to the downside. And I do think it's still going to keep coming down as we go forward. And until we get a buy signal from the SMC bot, there's no point me even looking at Sui. People say, what do you think of Sui? Do you think it's bottomed? There's no point trying to catch a falling knife, guys, because, look, if we get a buy signal on Sui, so let's say we get a buy signal here. Let's get rid of these lines because it's looking absolutely messy. Let's say we get a buy signal. Okay, maybe I'll look at it. Maybe I'll pay attention. Right now, I'm never planning to buy Sui again, right? Right now, I'm never planning to buy Sui ever again. I'll do a video on why that is. But let's say we get a buy signal. I'll look at it. I'll assess the situation. I'll look at the on-chain data. I'll look at the user activity. I'll look at various different things, okay? There's no point me trying to catch this, because if I buy here thinking it's bottomed, and it just keeps coming down, I'm going to kick myself saying, why didn't I just wait for a buy signal? So yeah, completely decimated. Here you can see some of the shorts. This is just a handful of shorts. We've been shorting all the way down, right? Since we took profits and sold our entire bag of Sui, we've been shorting all the way down. And big up the guys who have made a lot of shorting. I think some of them still have shorts open, which is crazy, because we were looking at a TP target of around 0.3, and we're still at 0.87 today. So we've almost hit our TP target. And yeah, let's see where it goes. With regards to Bitcoin, again, Raw has been so wrong. I don't know how some of these accounts have so many followers because they couldn't have been more wrong.
We are now still in the early phase of phase 2.
Bear in mind, this was October 26, 2025, literally around the exact top, and Raw is saying we're in the early phase.
This is not a phase 2 correction. We've barely broken out. In fact, most other assets, thinking about stuff like total market cap, X, Bitcoin and ETH, haven't yet broken. Now think of the banana.
Bear in mind, ETH was also around the top there, and he's still saying we've barely broken out.
Banana zone here, All of these previous three were all only one period wide, this 1 year. This one will be wider. So which is why the market looks less parabolic at this stage.
And also, look at this banana zone. But everyone kept saying to me, when banana zone. Usually, when you're in this kind of phase, you're kind of at the top already. I don't know how these guys have been in the space so long, because I posted this in February 2025 saying, trade safe, guys. Pigs get slaughtered. Pigs get slaughtered means that everyone gets greedy when everything's going up. Everyone wants more. They want more. They want more. I love this saying because it's so true. And you can see Raul there, even though Bitcoin went from 16K to 125K, he's still saying, we haven't even started yet. We haven't broken out. The banana zone is coming. And that is a classic case of a pig getting slaughtered. Greedy. I want more. I want more. I'm only up 10x. I'm only up 20x. I put slow and steady wins the race. This is the direction I'm hoping for the rest of the year. Pull back to support, rally into final leg, into the top of the bull market, into the big short, which turned out to be shorts, right? We started to short ETH, Solana, loads of different assets. Not financial advice. You should always do your own research. And then look, we just literally came down to support, bounced up to the top of the market, and now we're in the bear market. So we've done very, very well. We've done very, very well. Look, it's just bonkers how so many people are getting it wrong. Arthur Hayes, another massive account in the space, been in crypto for a very long time. I mean, listen to some of the things he's saying.
What is your current ownership of Bitcoin in terms of like portfolio percentage? Are you have Bitcoin exposure? Do you sell all your Bitcoin? How are you dealing with this?
I mean, I think probably 90-something% of my net worth is Bitcoin.
Absolutely insane. 90% of his net worth is in Bitcoin. One of the most, I mean, at this point, it's sad. It is really, really sad that so much risk is being placed, and to make so much wealth, because this guy's made a lot of wealth over the years, right? Mainly because obviously he's become a KOL, very, very large KOL, and a large VC. So again, everyone gives Arthur Hayes early access to these assets. It's very hard to lose. So I guess in a way he can risk 90% because it's very, very hard for him to lose any money because he's always going to get early access to these tokens. And, sometimes before they come onto the market, and there's a lot of money there to be made, right? But 90%, I mean, imagine having, even if you're like 100K portfolio, these guys are obviously trading with hundreds of millions. I mean, 100K portfolio, let's say Quantum randomly hacked Bitcoin. You wake up, Quantum's hacked Bitcoin. No one saw it coming. No one expected it. You wake up, you've got 10K because you had 90% of your portfolio. This is your net worth, right? So you're down to 10K just from not practicing risk management. Now, one of the TradFi investors that we talked about might have had 1% in BTC. So they wake up and they still have 99K, okay, because they're managing their risk. But a lot of the TradFi traders don't have 100K. They have 100 million, which is a lot of money. So instead of being 90 million down, they would actually only be 1 million down, okay? So again, risk management is key. I think it's very dangerous advice that some of these top accounts are giving people. You could argue, yes, it does bring more liquidity into the space, because if everyone listened to the kind of stuff I'm saying, there'd be a lot less money in crypto, because I'd be saying 1 to 5% in this asset. BTC, I'll put a little bit more in, right? But altcoins, I put very, very small amounts in. And, there'd be a lot less liquidity. So, I mean, the good thing is it does bring extra liquidity. And the sad thing is so many people are going to get wrecked by listening to some of these and these predictions. When was this posted? This was April 19 of last year.
And how do I deal with it? Don't do anything.
You said 90.
Oh, it might even be this year. Sorry, it might even be this year.
Yeah. Okay.
90. It goes up, it goes down. The number on the screen says however many dollars, value. It doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, thankfully, my cost basis is very low.
So his predictions were 200K to 250K by the end of 2026, 750K in 2027, 1 million by 2028. I've already done a video on my predictions, so go back and watch that through my channel. I think the video is called The Truth About Bitcoin. So go and see my predictions, because my predictions, I believe, are not even 250K in 4 years, let alone this year. So yeah, go and check those out. Yeah, absolutely crazy predictions, wild predictions. This again, listen to this. This was December 2025. So Arthur Hayes was very, very wrong about his top prediction. So you can see here.
Stick with it. I think I said $250,000 Bitcoin, and I am going to stick with it until December 31st, 11:59.
So his prediction for last year was, you can see this is almost the end of the year, and they're saying, Arthur, you said we were going to be at 250K, and obviously we're not. And they just laugh, they just start laughing. It's like, I don't know, if I would feel sad, I would feel bad if I'm trying to be an analyst, right? And if I'm making predictions that are consistently wrong over and over again, I couldn't be laughing. I would feel bad. I would feel bad for everyone that listened to me and, you know, maybe lost a lot of money, right? Maybe someone went long. Maybe someone had 90% of their portfolio in because they followed your portfolio, right? You got 90% in. You're very convinced that we're going to hit 250K, and you're just laughing at everyone. It's mental to me, absolutely mental that there is no, oh, I'm sorry, you know, look, I was looking at this wrong, and I underestimated the sell pressure. I underestimated the 4-year cycle. You know, I knew that we historically usually top here, we're at massive resistance, and I was way too bullish. It's just laughing and continuing to make these crazy predictions. It's mind-blowing to me.
Pardon me. I tried to make it a little better for you there, Arthur. I tried to say it was 200,000, knock 50 grand off, but you're sticking with the 250.
Even the host is laughing. Everyone lost.
By the end of 2026, what do you think?
I think we're be 500 to 750,000.
That's enough, right? End of 2026. He said 500 to 700,000. Absolutely ludicrous. And I hope people aren't taking long positions based on that advice, because they're likely going to lose all their money. Again, guys, we post when we're selling. I posted in the 4th of November, sold all of my crypto, and I DCA'd out. So I'd done 3 sells. Because, I'm not trying to time the exact top, but I've done 3 DCAs out. But I did sell the rest of my crypto around the 4th of November. And shortly after, the market completely capitulated. I've also been posting on my Twitter a lot of really good calls. We had a yellow topping candle on Solana. This was back in October 28th. You can see the price was around $200. We had this yellow topping candle. We had a sell signal from the SMC bot. And now I think the price of Solana is like 89. So you would have lost 60% of your portfolio by listening to some of these other channels. And if you followed us, then you would have saved a lot of money. And this is a lot of money, right? 60%. Imagine you had 100K in Solana and you were like, well, this guy's been right quite a lot. Maybe I'll see what happens, right? You had 100K, you've saved yourself $60,000 of that 100K by de-risking and just taking a little bit off the table. Solana was $8. It's 200. You've already won. Don't be greedy. Pigs get slaughtered. And a lot of people say to me, Wes, when are you buying crypto? When are you buying crypto? Guys, I'm making money every single day that I don't buy crypto, okay? Imagine I'd have continued to buy Sui. I said Sui topped. Imagine I'd have bought Sui here at 250. I'm buying the dip because a lot of people were. Imagine I bought the dip at 137. Imagine I bought the dip at $1. Every single day I would have been losing, but I have conviction and faith in my analysis and the on-chain data. I'm not just looking at this. I'm looking at Glassnode. I'm looking at Nansen. I pay thousands and thousands of dollars for a reason, guys. I don't just go around Twitter looking at what these large accounts are saying. And more often than not, it's how you lose. It's how you lose. And it's a reason we made it to number 1. A lot of people, my friends, say to me, mate, how are you making $31,000 a month? And it's because most of our predictions have been right? We haven't got everything right. We've made some mistakes. But the most important thing is that we have been buying low in the bear market, and we've been making these predictions, these swing trades, right? We were buying down here. We were buying down here. We were selling up here. We were selling up here. Most of the predictions we've made have been right, and that's how we got to the top of the market. Now, maybe we go on a bad run here and make 20 wrong predictions, and maybe I do drop down in the ranks. But one thing I do know is that I'm still going to be managing my risk. I'm not going to go and put 90% of my portfolio in an asset. That's the worst thing you could do. We need to start looking at this as absolute degenerate, poor risk management. I don't know why they're glorified. Same with Michael Saylor. He's pretty much 100% in Bitcoin. One of the worst investors ever. One of the worst investors ever. How can you be in Bitcoin for 6 years? You are earlier than me. And I've made like so much money trading. How can you be in Bitcoin for 6 years and still be at a loss? Like, to me, these people need to be, it's just crazy. I'm getting passionate about it, but, people are losing money, guys. I don't sell my long-term portfolio, and I'm quite confident when I say things, right? I literally said back in February, I don't sell my long-term portfolio very often. I started selling Render around 12.30. As we know, I think that went down to $1. It came down over 90%. This was back in February. It was 4.20, right? I think it's much lower than that now. A few weeks back, I sold some more Solana at 250, pretty much around the top. Let's see where it is in 3 months. And then I made these videos saying I'm selling my crypto. So guys, big up if you caught some of these videos. I hope you saved some money. Same with Nansen, another massive account in the space. He's posted here. Also, these big Bitcoin ETFs flows are not going to stop anytime soon. I think last week we saw some of the largest ETF outflows we've ever seen. And he basically predicted that crypto was 10 trillion plus crypto total market cap by the end of 2025. So Raw Paul, Ansem, Gainsey, a lot of these accounts were saying the same thing. I think we can see here the total crypto market cap totaled around 4.2 trillion. So, over 50% below what Ansem was predicting. And we had a sell signal from the SMC bot, and we still don't have a buy signal from the SMC bot so far. So the trend is your friend. Again, I'm not going to try and catch a falling knife here. I'm not going to try and exactly time. I tell you what, I do think I know roughly where we're going to bottom, but anything can happen. And I am going to make a bottom call at some point, right? In my Discord, when I think the exact dollar bottom is in, I'm going to take a long position on some leverage. Not crazy big size, very small size, but I'm going to take a long position. It might be a DCA long where I DCA in as it comes down. It might be a snipe where I think we've actually capitulated. It depends what happens in the market, right? I am going to make a bottom prediction. When it comes to building a portfolio, I am going to DCA, okay? So I'm not going to try and time. With the leverage trade, you kind of have to be a little bit more surgical with it. It's very hard just to roughly DCA, especially as normally when you bottom, you have like a black swan event where you get this huge sell-off. That's the kind of point I'm looking to take a big long position. I would like to hold along into next cycle. But yeah, as I start to build my portfolio, I'll start to slowly DCA in maybe 3 DCAs, 4 DCAs, a bit similar to how we DCA'd out in the bull run, right? Again, BTC, we still want a sell signal from the SMC bot. The trend is your friend until the end. There's no point in me looking at this until I see anything different. Congratulations if you've been short in the market, guys, because we've made hundreds and hundreds of thousands shorting this breakdown here. It was 110, so we shorted 125, but I did take profits from that trade. And I was going to see if we could bounce here. We didn't bounce. I did take a small long here. But then when we broke here is where I started to take my big trades from 110K downwards. And the trend is your friend until the end. It will be interesting when we get our first buy signal. And I do think that the next buy signal we get on BTC is going to be the start of the next bull run. So pay attention to that, because I do think as soon as we get that first buy signal, I think the market is going to start moving back to the upside. Not financial advice, just what I'm doing, just my strategy. And, be careful when investing. As we've talked about, you can lose all of your money in investing, especially if you're following some of these accounts going in 90%, 70%. I think it's really bad advice. I don't think it doesn't work for me. If it works for you, it works for you. But risk management is very important for me, and that's why I'm diversifying. And you might have seen I started to buy some stocks, right? I started to move a lot of money into stocks. I took some profits from crypto. I started taking profits around January 2025, even 2024. Right, we even took some profits from render around the top in 2024. It's crazy to think that things were topping in 2024, but I took some profits and put it into stocks, and stocks went absolutely crazy, right? So we've been making lots of money, and even in stocks, I'm taking my profits off the table. This is pretty much my main strategy. Took my initial out of GFS. Now remaining is a free lottery ticket. Okay, so I've taken out my initial investment. Let's draw this out just in case you're new. So look, let's say I put 1% into GFS. It went up 80%. Okay, so I've made 0.8% on that as a return. Okay, so let's say I put 10K into GFS. Then I've made 8K profit because it's gone up 80%. So I take out my initial 10K. So now I've got my initial 10K, and now I have 8K in GFS that's completely free money. Okay, so I can never lose. I'm invested in GFS because I think it's going to do well over 5 years. It's not like crypto. Okay, it's not like a short-term thing. I think it's going to do well over 5 years, and I think that 80K could eventually become 80K. Okay, in time, right? In time. But I can't lose because I practice risk management, right? I took my initial out. Not only is this now a free lottery ticket, okay? So it's a free lottery ticket. If it crashes, if it goes to zero, I've lost nothing. And if it goes up, I've made huge money that I can then potentially try and turn into more money. But now my 10K, now this is the best part. I have my 10K initial to go into another asset. Then I go into, let's say I go into Poet. We made 72%. I put that 10K into Poet, and Poet went up 72%. So I've now made 7.2K profit. Okay, 7.2K profit. I then take out my initial. So I take out that initial 10K. And now I have that 10K again to go invest into something else. And I did buy another stock this week, guys. I literally bought, it's last week. Last week I bought another stock. So it's in the Discord. If you want to go and see what that was, go to buy alerts. You can see the stock in there. And I did buy that last week. So now I've got 10K in that stock. And if that goes up 80%, then, that's another 8K because I'll sell it again. I'll take out my initial. And this same 10K, hopefully, if I play my cards right, is going to just completely be new assets, right? Now I've got 7.2K in Poet, which is free money. I can't lose, right? Because I flipped it. I got 8K in GFS. I got 10K in this new asset. And then I might have 10K in another asset. So all from the same 10K, I've bagged up all of this money, which is now looking like, 30K, 35K. All from that initial 10K, right? So it's playing the moves, and I think we've done very well to sell some crypto. We've sold all our crypto and move into stocks, and now start to flip these. This is late game stuff because when I first got into crypto, I did have a lot of my net worth in crypto. I didn't go and put 70% into one asset, but I had Cardano, I had Matic, I had Bitcoin, I had Ethereum. This was like many cycles ago, right? Or a couple of cycles ago. And, things went up 30x, 40x, 50x. I made a lot of money. I started with a few thousand. I got quite lucky with my timing because I got in at the start of the bear market, and pretty much nearly all cryptos in the top 100 went absolutely crazy. We got into BNB as well. So many assets went crazy. I made a lot of money in a very short amount of time. And, we got kind of lucky with our time in there. Now, my strategy has always been to take less risk. So once I make money is to then diversify. I then bought a property. So I bought an apartment because I do believe in real estate. And I think real estate is one of the lowest risk investments you can make. Yes, it moves very slow, but over time, real estate tends to do this. It's not like there's a finite supply of land. You could kind of say it's kind of similar to Bitcoin. There's a finite amount of Bitcoin. There's only a certain amount of supply. Same with real estate, right? Especially if you're buying in a built-up city like Dubai, or you're buying a property in Manhattan. There's only a certain amount of land. There's not going to be more land in Manhattan. If you manage to secure a property, technically it should do this. Partly also because fiat is depreciating, right? They keep printing money. The value of the pound, the dollar is just going to keep coming down, which pushes the prices of assets, especially houses, towards the upside. So I bought property. I'm buying stocks, which has historically been a lot less riskier. I'm going to do a video on why I think stocks are going to do very well over the next 5 years and why crypto is going to struggle. I do think some cryptos are going to do very well. I just don't think we're going to see the cycles that we've seen in the previous cycles. I think, my strategy over the last few cycles, most of my money was made in blockchains. But the key to making money is adapting with the market and moving with change. And I'm not going to be buying many. I might not even buy many blockchains next cycle. It might even be one. It might even be one blockchain in terms of smart contract platforms. It might be two. It might be one. I don't know. I'm going to have to research the assets. I'm going to be looking at the on-chain data. I'm going to see what the insiders and the institutions are doing on-chain. But I'll make those decisions in the bear market. There's no point making those decisions now. Look how fast the market moves with war, quantum computing, all these different things. But I'm slowly moving into different assets and I'm taking less risk, and I'm still continuing to take very small percentages in these low risks as well. And as long as I follow this strategy, which I've learned from a lot of successful TradFi traders, as long as I follow this strategy, it becomes very hard for me to lose. Now, imagine I was following Arthur Hayes and I listened to him and I believed in him, and I went and put 90% of my portfolio, my net worth, all of the money I've made, instead of putting it into real estate, stocks and crypto, I went and put 90% into Bitcoin, and then I woke up and quantum had hacked Bitcoin. I would have lost all of my gains. I would have lost most of my net worth. I would have been depressed. I would have had to start from scratch, which is probably going to take me 6, 7, 8 years. No way, no chance, right? Slow and steady wins the race. That's the biggest saying for me. Slow and steady wins the race. I'm not going to take so much risk, especially I think there's like a 5 to 10% chance now that quantum hacks Bitcoin in the next few years. It's not even an if or maybe. Even Vitalik and some of the greatest thinkers all agree that it's a matter of when it's going to get hacked. And putting 90% of my portfolio into something that has a 10% chance of getting hacked is insane to me. It's ludicrous, and it's really, really bad advice in my opinion. But hey, just be careful, guys. Just be careful. It's a crazy, crazy space. Remember, a lot of these people are getting VC access to a lot of these companies. It's not in their incentive. I don't know if they're contracted to say good things only. I'm sure they can say some things, but it's not in their interest to come out and say, oh, by the way, I think Sui has topped it, right? You're not going to see that from a VC who has. You're more likely to hear from them, I think this is going to replace Solana. I think this is going to beat Ethereum, right? It's not in their interest to give you the truth, which is it creates really, really bad behaviors in the space. It creates degen mentality. It creates over allocating. Poor Sailor, man. Sailor bought more BTC. I posted here saying Sailor got more BTC and the price didn't even move. There must have been a lot of heavy selling over the weekend. Red Monday, and then what happens? You can't make this up. Literally today, GG's Red Monday, 72.7k and falling right now. Stock market going up. Stock market going up. SMC bot, still a buy signal on the SMC bot for the stock market. The trend is your friend until the end. When we get a sell from the SMC bot, that's going to be interesting. It could get kind of dark when we get that first sell signal because it's been going up for so long. But the trend is your friend until the end. Don't fight it. My stocks are absolutely printing. It's like every week I come in here, my stocks are going higher and my crypto shorts are also printing. So yeah, we really caught this market well. We were short crypto, long stocks, and we've made a lot of money by doing that move. I think one of the guys posted in my Discord recently, I think he's up like 400% on stocks, which is crazy if you think about it. If he put in 100k into his stock portfolio, he's nearly up like 500,000, and he could have been down 60-70%, maybe more if you had a lot of altcoins in crypto. So it was a good move. I really hope we can time the bottom of this market, because if we do, I don't know any other channel that has made so many predictions that have been right. And if we time the bottom of this market, imagine we get into long positions at the bottom of this market. And we just have such an advantage as well by tracking all the on-chain data, right? I mean, imagine we long the bottom of this market. Stocks continue to go up. We take profits from crypto. We put more into stocks. It would be phenomenal, right? It would be phenomenal. My portfolio is going to look completely different. I think I had over 20 or 30 assets last cycle. My crypto portfolio is probably going to be 6 or 7 max this cycle. Which I'll you know what, I can't do the videos now because I have to allocate. I have to buy first, right? I don't want to do the videos now, my complete strategy. I'll do the videos after I buy in the bear market. I'll do the videos afterwards. I've been doing videos on where I think the market, the market's going to come down, of course, guys. So I hope you guys have not been too wrecked. But the videos on why I think most of the space is going to underperform and only a certain few altcoins are going to do well, I'll do that after. I think I have a very strong case for that video. You're going to see like blockchains that I've bought in the past aren't, I'm saying they're going to really underperform and not do well. And I think I have such a good case. There's probably 20 reasons why I think most blockchains are not going to do very well. But I still see people talking about Sui's going to come back and AVAX is going to come back. I mean, the same people who are buying Chainlink, right? And how's Chainlink doing today? We've been addicted to this space. I do feel like we have a strong grasp over this space. I've made some mistakes. I've definitely bought some crap that didn't perform well. I'm not going to get it right every time, but I think the biggest thing we've done is buying the bear market, selling the bull run. Those are the only two things you have to get right. You have to try and get close to the bottom, and you have to try and sell close to the top. And most of the space lost money, right? We made a lot of money, but most of the space lost. Okay, it's not like most of the space broke even, or most of the space only made like a small profit. Most lost, and over 90% of people, I believe it's over 90%, it might even be 95% in crypto, lose because they do the same things. They get bullish around the top. They allocate too much of their portfolio into high risk altcoins. And when the market crashes, they get absolutely destroyed. You see what happens to James Wynn? The problem with some of these accounts is when they lose a lot of their portfolio or they lose a lot of money. James Wynn done this, right? He got up to $100 million. They come back and they try to make it so aggressively because they saw their accounts were so high and they had so much money. They come back and they start to try and shill other altcoins. Like you might see a lot of the Cabal are shilling near, Zcash. A lot of them will come back and get in early to assets and try to, or low when the asset's down, and there'll be like this campaign to try and raise funds. And at some point that normally ends in tears. So even though a lot of people are saying Zcash is going to revolutionize the financial space, have a look around. Who do you know is using Zcash? Do any of your friends say, oh yeah, I'm just going to send you this on Zcash, or can you do this on Zcash? Send this to me on Zcash. No one's using Zcash. And it's funny how the protocols that are seeing pumps are ones that are hard to trace, and it's hard for the transactions to be traced. It seems to be funny to me that they're seeing these massive weekend pumps and rallies, and market makers are making moves all over the place. And what happens is when people lose money, they want to make it back very aggressively and very fast, and it hurts them. They're down maybe hundreds of millions, maybe tens, hundreds of millions, and they try to make it back. So at some point or another, I do think most of these altcoins, even the ones that are rallying now, are going to capitulate, because we talked about Bitcoin potentially coming down 50%. I think I posted it on my Twitter. I don't know if I'll be able to see it right now, but I did say the last time this happened, that's where one of our BTC shorts, we started showing around 110k there. I put TP 50k. I think we will hit it, guys. Do you think we're going to hit 50k? I think we'll hit it. I mean, what a call that is. 110k down to 50k. Absolutely crazy. I think we are going to hit it. There's some of our stocks gains. So I posted this back in, when did I post this? October 13th. This was around the top. This was around the top of the crypto market. We actually sold some crypto. I say top for Bitcoin, right? Not for altcoins. And I put some money into stocks, and it went crazy, right? It went absolutely crazy. I think how much was up here? 317%. Getting into those stocks, and it was the right stocks as well, right? We had to get into the right assets. Quantum computing went crazy. Tech as a whole pretty much went crazy. Yeah, I can't see this tweet right now. There's another coin, Genius, right? They tried to launch these new coins. People tried to shit it to make some money, and then they start to rug pull and pull the rug. I can't see it right now. We had a strong buy signal, by the way, on IonQ, around $40. I think it's almost doubled in price from the SMC bot. Really, really good, this bot. It's not always right. I think it's like got a 72% success rate, but I use it for confluence. I kind of look at the bot. We've got a strong buy signal here, lots of volume coming in. Maybe we're going to move to the upside. Should I take a long position? Should I allocate more to my IonQ? Maybe if you didn't have any IonQ, then this would be a place to get on board. Yeah, I still think ETH's going to come down a lot as well. The market cap of ETH's 240 billion and Solana 46 billion. So ETH kind of has to correct, or Solana has to catch up. And I don't know how Solana would catch up if BTC is likely to come down 30, 40, 50% from here. Yeah, SMC bot gave a buy signal. We rejected off the 200-day moving average, just as we talked about in one of our previous videos. I said the last time this happened, BTC came down 63%. I'm not saying it's going to come down 63 again. I'm just saying this is last cycle exactly where we capitulated, and we are starting to capitulate here. We're starting to come to the downside. So yeah, this could be the big move down right now. We could be at the start of this big move down. We rejected off the 200-day. We should be technically heading towards 50K over the next 2 months. And last cycle, it happened very fast. It was literally a couple of months, and we were just down. So is this time different? We'll see. It could be different. That's why I've already taken some profits off my shorts. I've set my stop losses to entry, and I can't lose. So even if I'm wrong about this prediction and it doesn't come down to 50K here, and let's say this time's different, it pushes up to 85, 90, my stop losses will stop in profit. I've already taken profit. I can't lose on the trade, right? That's the kind of position I'm always trying to put myself into. This is our sell alert back in March 2024. This is how long ago we started selling. It's crazy, right? I wasn't supposed to sell here. I had no plans to sell in March 2024. This should have been early days, but I sold because I noticed that Bitcoin was going up so much and altcoins were barely moving. That's a red flag, huge red flag. It shows there's a lack of interest in altcoins. It shows that people aren't prepared to hold these as long as they previously were, and that they're taking profits a lot earlier. And we also were looking on chain, and we could see that Beeble was actually selling his render every allocation he got. Again, a VC, right? He was on socials. We've literally just talked about this. He was on socials. Render this, render that. Render's going to revolutionize. Render's going to change. But I was tracking his wallet on chain, and he was selling at the same time he was tweeting bullish things about render. This is how they move, guys. He was a VC. He was getting so much money from render. It was something like $1 million a month he was getting, and he was selling every single bag that he got. And I was just like, and I could see other VCs were selling, other insiders were selling, and then I saw that the market didn't move up. There was a race to get out this cycle, and the problem with VCs this cycle is, what happened in the previous cycle is VCs made a lot of money, like ludicrous money, okay? And there was a lot of there was only a smaller amount of altcoins than there were this cycle. There was many more this cycle. So last cycle there was a funnel of altcoins, and so many buyers, right? So much interest. Then we had potential ETFs that were potentially going to come in the future, which was brought a lot of speculation and hope. Oh, I need to get in before the VCs come, before the institutions come. And there was only a small funnel, and the VCs done so well that other VCs heard about it, and then they all rushed in to get in. All the VCs rushed to get in, and they were buying all of these altcoins, and they invested so much money into altcoins. A lot of VCs have actually been down quite a lot because their tokens are locked up for years, right? So the altcoin market started to crash really early. And, it started to crash even in March 2024. and their tokens were locked into 2026, 2025 as well, towards the end of 2025, because that was the dream. And that's when the VCs could exit, right? End of the bull market. The VCs could start to dump on everyone. But the teams who were selling the tokens to the VCs were selling before them and made a lot of money. And then as soon as the VCs started to get their money, their token unlocks, they started to sell immediately, right? Like Beeple was. And then you had this like cascade of people just getting their unlocks and selling, getting their unlocks and selling. And those unlocks are still going to happen for the next few years, guys. So, you know, some of these assets, including Hyperliquid, right? Hyperliquid still has token unlocks into, I believe, 2027. And those tokens are continuously going to get unlocked and people are going to be in a lot of profits. And of course, taking some profits off the table. So there's been a lot of different moving parts this cycle, and I don't think many people spotted it. I don't think many people were taking profits here because it was just the start, really, right, of the bull run. But there was a few different things. There was the VC selling on chain, and then there was the separation from Bitcoin, separation in terms of gains. Same with ETH as well, right? ETH massively underperformed. Most people lost on ETH. I think Tom Lee is like down $8 billion, but most people lost on ETH because most people got in around 1 or 2K. Not many people got 1K. Most people got around 2K, and the top was 4K. So, you know, if you had $1,000 in ETH, it was $2,000. It's not something you really want to sell. It's really hard to sell. You know, if you made a 2x and you're seeing all of these other people, you know, we got Solana around $20, $23, and it went to $250. You're seeing all these other people make thousands of percents. It's very hard to sell your little 200%, right? You keep waiting and hoping that your time is going to come. And then now, you know, Solana's just completely tanking and it's going into a loss. So yeah, it's not been the easiest cycle. We made some good decisions selling crypto and getting into stocks. Next cycle, again, I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed next cycle. Look at NEAR. Everyone is shilling NEAR. And look at the state of the chart. It's like, it's a classic sign. I mean, look, if you lose a lot of money, it's not the worst strategy, right? Let's say you're a KOL, you lose a lot of money in crypto. You're a VC, bought too many altcoins, you VC'd into every altcoin that offered you a place. You put all this money in and they're all down 90%. This is not a bad strategy. Guys, let's find an altcoin that we can buy and let's pump it, let's shill it, and let's try and make some money back, right? Let's try and make some money back. Let's put in $10 million here. We'll try to 10x it. That's $100 million. And then we'll dump it. It's not the worst strategy, okay? It's not the worst strategy. So just be very, very careful when you see everyone talking about the same altcoins. And trying to push the same altcoins, because normally it's an exit liquidity trap. A similar thing was done back here, right? Similar thing was done back here, and then down straight back to here. I think wherever NEAR pumps, I think it's going to come straight back down to this level or lower. Yeah. Guys, none of the information in this video is financial advice, your own research. Investing in crypto, investing in anything is highly risky. You can lose all of your money investing in anything. If you want to join our group, we're a very active group. We're inside talking about the market, talking about ideas, strategies, assets, tokens that are pumping, on-chain data. A lot of our guys are actually using Nansen. If you want to use Nansen, by the way, the discount code is SMC. So if you want to use that, search Nansen. And SMC is the discount code. It's what I use to track smart money on chain and insiders. If you want to join us and maybe you want to get the SMC bot in your own trading view, it snaps to grid, so you don't need to be a wizard. You literally just search the asset you want to look for, and it snaps to grid. Let's go S&P. Let's check S&P. You see here, sell signal, buy signal. It just snaps to grid. You click on the asset you want to look at, and it tells you exactly what's going on. Probably shouldn't have shown you guys this. Okay, that's some of our personal targets, but oh well, if you watch the video to the end, some alpha there. It snaps to grid, and it's really useful. It's really, really useful for snapping you out of that bearishness and helping you trade the markets. If you want to join us, search this bottom one, not the top one. Search this bottom one. Be careful, because there's a lot of scammers out there. And my nose is still going. Search this bottom one, not the top one, and on Twitter, and then click this link here, this link. That's going to take you to a page where you can see my Discord, and it says join us now. So once you join, you get set up in Patreon, and then you get access to our Discord, and you get access to the SMC bot, you get access to all my buy and sells. We do have a VIP tier, as we have a VIP tier where I literally get back to everyone's questions as soon as I can. There's a lot of people who are new here trying to learn these markets and strategies, and I answer every single question in here where I can. And we have a little bit extra alpha here. You'll see it on the Patreon. You'll see the different tiers and their different benefits if you want to join. And we have so much. My whole portfolio is in here. My stocks portfolio, my crypto portfolio is going to be in here. We have a DGen portfolio this cycle, so I'm buying 50 DGen altcoins, very small percentages, guys. When I said my portfolio is going to be like 6 altcoins, I mean my actual portfolio. This is just my fun bag, so I will have like a fun bag of 50 different altcoins, and the percentages are so small, okay? I don't want people to get carried away with this. The percentages are so small. Yes, obviously we're buying things that are micro caps, so there might be 40k market cap, 80k market cap, 1 million K market cap, okay? And they might be really, really small, and some of them will lose, okay? Some of them will 100% never make it, but I'm buying things that I think will be degen in the next cycle. I'm buying things that have completely gone down 99% that I think are going to be interesting or popular next cycle. So I'm thinking 2 years, 3 years ahead, and trying to think about what the narrative is. And I'll do videos on that after I build my 50 DGen portfolio. I'll do videos on why I think those things are going to do well. There's strategy behind it. I'm not just spinning a wheel. I'm thinking about trends, phases, on-chain data, right? Because I can see narratives on-chain that the smart money is starting to get into and accumulate. So yeah, we're going to have DGen portfolio, my buy alerts. Every time I buy and sell something is in here as well. Leverage trades, so I post my leverage trades in here when I'm taking leverage. You can probably see some of the gains in here. Big up 91 old schooler, 1,000% on that Sui short. Congratulations, bro. That's massive. 10x on that. GG's. Asta 447% short. GG's. Crypto sausage 100% on that HUSDT short. GG's. Couldn't resist trading anymore. Beba, if you can post them individually, then I can see. But it looks like you've made some nice gains there. There's one of my Ondo shorts. I took an Ondo short recently. I posted it in leverage high risk. So this is where you can see my shorts. 87% on that. I think it's more now, actually. And I'm holding my Ondo short open into the bear market because I do think Bitcoin is about to come down 30, 40, 50%. So altcoins normally tend to come down 90% plus. If Bitcoin comes down 50%, it would be very abnormal to see altcoins not come down 70 to 90%, and some, of course, 99%. Solana, big up Mello. He took our Solana short recently, and he's 180% in profit. I'm holding my Solana short open as well. So we've already taken a little bit of profits off the table, but doing well. Piggy actually closed his short. Fair play. GG's, bro. 72,966. No one went broke taking profits. I'm not judging anyone. A lot of my gains have been made by holding positions open. So when I have high conviction that we're about to crash or the market's about to come down, I do hold my positions open, and it kind of makes up for all the stop losses that I've hit over time. And yeah, I do hold my positions open for quite a while. It's absolutely insane to see this from the stock market. We had a buy signal here from the stock market around 6.7. It's now 7.6, and it's crazy to see Bitcoin just the opposite direction, man. We've never seen a detachment like this, and it's very important that you're understanding that, because we've never seen such a detachment like this. Yes, we're in a bear market. Yes, this is normally supposed to happen. Bitcoin normally comes down here 60, 70, 80%. But to see that kind of that downtrend with that uptrend on the S&P is a first. You maybe could have expected some little bit of buy pressure here. Because we're in a bear market, people aren't going to go crazy, right? but you would expect some kind of attempt here to move to the upside, with the S&P literally moving up 50%. Very bad. And all of those TradFi holders who came into crypto, it's a first for them, right? All of their stock portfolio is going up, but their crypto is just going down, down, down. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? That the more people, they're not like us. Like, a lot of people in crypto are buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. But what you find in TradFi is they'll sell weaker assets. You know, we saw Mark he's sold most of his portfolio recently. And his excuse was, it should have gone up during a war. It should have gone up during fiat depreciation. And it should have gone up against the stock market. He's got some arguments there. You know, they don't understand. I guess it's not that they don't understand market cycles. I don't think they put as much emphasis on the market cycle as we do, or we have. And I think that's very important. The market cycle it's been so powerful. And I think this sediments the market cycles. The market cycles after this cycle become so powerful now that they almost should be incredible to trade for next cycle. The resistance of the market cycle top and the support of the market cycle bottom should be so accurate because of this breakaway from the stock market, right? This detachment from the stock market. This video is getting long, guys. There's so much information I want to kind of get off my head and drop to you guys, but I'll do it in more videos as we go into, especially after the bear market. I'll start to do my prediction videos. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest. And if you want to join us, come and jump in. The Discord is also going to go up in value when our website launches. We're building an AI website, which is going to track the entire market in real time. It's going to track TradingView. It's going to be able to go into TradingView and look at charts and create patterns and look for TP targets and short targets. It's going to actively be giving short calls and long calls. It's going to be a platform that I've not seen in the space. I've not seen anything like it. We've built the algorithm from scratch. It's going to take many months to complete. But when it is complete and we go live, our Discord is going to be more expensive. And I think it's going up by about $50. With a very large Discord, we don't really want 10,000 people in it. It loses the tight-knit community that we have. I'm not going to be able to answer everyone's questions. We've got space for a few more hundred members, but after that, it can be capped off. It might even be locked off at some point. But the Discord is going to be more expensive because it's going to cost a lot of money to run the website for tokens, because people are going to be able to ask requests for the AI to scan charts. Like, people are going to say scan Solana, scan Bitcoin, look for trade setups, and it's going to cost a lot of money for those tokens. So we have to put our price up once that launches. But it'll be the same price for everyone who's a member now, right? Everyone who supported the channel before we create that. Because it might be a viral website. It might actually make us go viral because it's going to be on the edge of AI tech. Everyone who's a member pays the same price. And even if you joined 2 years ago and you're paying like $20 a month, you'll still pay $20 a month because you supported me from the start. And I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everyone who's liking, commenting, sharing the vids and supporting everyone in the community, because without you guys, we wouldn't be able to pay for Nansen, right? We wouldn't be able to pay for Glassnode. We wouldn't be able to create this AI website. And I'm all about bringing more value to the community and bringing more tools that are going to help us navigate these markets, because it's going to be an important 5 years. It's going to be an important 4 or 5 years. And we're going into a whole brand new world with AI, photonic computing, quantum computing, robots. It's going to be there's going to be a massive tech growth that's going to be excelled partly by AI. It's going to be exponential growth because it's not just humans now. You've got millions of AI bots that are going to get smarter and smarter, that are going to be designing things themselves. Tech is about to explode, and I want to have exposure to that. Guys, if you liked the video, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on some of the things we talked about in the video. Let me know what you want me to do videos on. Until then, I will catch you in the next one.